Well. Once again, I'd like to welcome everyone to Before the Vision. I am Darien Willis, and today I have a very special guest. And before I bring her on the screen, I would really like to introduce Chesa Rollins. This young lady is in Chicago, Illinois right now, so we like to bring her on in. Hey, ma'am.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
All right, how are you today?
I'm good. My phone fell. Hold on one second. I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. So what's the weather like right now in the Windy City?
It is right now 5 degrees, I believe. Either 5 to 10 degrees.
Okay, I'm assuming is that normal there? I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana, so it's like, let me see, it's like 33 degrees. So we close schools and stuff when it be like this around here.
Oh
So I don't know.
wow.
Is that
Wow.
normal for y'all? 5 degrees?
Yeah, it's normal. Schools are still open. Well, it's MLK Day, so nothing's open right now, but it typically is, the norm for January.
All right. So I know why you're here today. We're gonna get right to it. About business. First of all, I'd like to say Happy belated Founders Day to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. For those that are watching and listening, this young lady is a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. All right, so my first question to you, ma'am, what does Black history mean to you?
Oh, Black history. Black history means the culture, the Renaissance, the just the DNA of what makes, the Black culture great. It is the foundation for everything in life, So we are creative, we are innovative, we are stylish, we are scientists, we are professionals, and so Black history is just a culmination of everything that makes America great.
Okay. So, we're here. We want to talk about your establishment and your life and journey as an entrepreneur. So, what
Mhm.
motivated you to become a chef?
Oh gosh. My motivation to become a chef was it kind of stemmed from an incident of me having celiac disease, which is an autoimmune disease, and I can't process any bread, wheat, or flour, any gluten. And so I was in corporate America and I was like, I'm always hungry. There's nothing to eat. I wish somebody could create, a gluten free food truck. And I just so happened to, write this vision down. It was going to be a passion project to do a food truck, somewhere when I retired. And shortly after I put that into the atmosphere, maybe about 5 or 6 months later, I found an abandoned food truck in Chinatown here in Chicago. And so I sought out the original owners and purchased the truck. And then that's when my journey began about 11 years ago.
Okay, so are you from Chicago, Illinois?
I am from Chicago. I'm from the South Side.
Okay, the South Side. Now, down south in Louisiana, where we are, we associate Chicago with different things like the deep dish pizza, and
Mm-hmm.
they say it's a lot of violence up there. They say it's a lot of violence here too, but those are things that people kind of put in their mind. And then with the weather and the Chicago Bulls, that's the thing
Mm-hmm.
you kind of think about when you think about Chicago. So,
Mm-hmm.
I just asked you about what motivated you to become a chef. So, who or what does your motivation come from? Who got you into this and where you are?
So it was a funny story. So like again, so I started the food truck, and I was just going to be cute, and I was just going to collect the money, and I was going to hire chefs, and that was going to be it. And what ended up happening, it didn't work out that way. And so I was the one that, and so I started my business maybe about a year and a half. Um, the the American Heart Association came to me and they were like, "We want you to teach nutrition classes." And I was like, we need they needed a chef. And I was like, well, I'm not a chef. And so they were like, well, we're going to design a program around, a cookbook that we want to feature you in. And, we want you to teach the classes. So it was kind of at that point, I just transitioned from being an owner operator to a chef. So I taught, nutrition classes for about 4 years for the American Heart Association as a chef. And I was just kind of thrown in there and making the recipes that they wanted. And it just grew from there. So it's a really organic story. I did not go to culinary school. I always knew how to cook. I was a great cook for my family. And that was pretty much the extent. So, the opportunity presented itself for me to go into that direction, and I just took it.
All right. So, Chelsea, we've known each other for a while. And, we
Hmm.
talk off camera and some of the things, that we were going to kind of discuss on this podcast. So, we're talking about food and, you mentioned the American Heart Association. So
Hmm.
something that I want to kind of dive into before we get back into the meat and potatoes of this interview, you recently suffered a stroke.
Hmm.
Let's talk about that.
Well, so in 2023, well, I opened my restaurant in 2022, and life was okay at that point. Um, I was highly stressed because I had never had a fully functional restaurant of my own that I was operating. So it was a big jump from running two food trucks to now running two food trucks, a brick and mortar, and a catering business. And so in 2023, it was just a number of things happening. And so people were like, oh, you were stressed out and you were this and that, you were that. And it totally wasn't that. The issue that happened with me was that my birth control pills, not birth control pills, but the birth control that I was on actually caused a blood clot. And that blood clot traveled to my brain, and it caused a massive near fatal stroke. And so I was at work, and going for weeks. I had this just this extreme headache, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And so I thought maybe it was seasonal allergies, sinus pressure, congestion. And so I was just taking allergy medicine, Tylenol, to kind of combat it. And it just really reared its head in July of 2023, and I collapsed at work. And from that point, my staff, the um, they called the 911, and I was rushed to the hospital. And it was a pretty traumatic experience, but I was out of it because even while I was having the stroke, I was having seizures at the same time. And so a couple days had went by, and I woke up literally blind. I couldn't see, and so I had to learn how to, once that it actually went away after like maybe 3 or 4 days. So after my vision returned to me, and then I was able to kind of figure out, where was I, what my name was, and then having to learn how to speak and talk again. I'm sorry, talk again, and learning how to walk and do the functional things that people normally do. So that was in 2023. The recovery has been interesting, but I'm fully functional now, and just very little remnants of that stroke and that seizure remain.
Okay, and I asked you that question due to, like, so we talked about this offline. Like, when things like that happen, like, and I'll speak for myself. You tend to think that those types of issues or things happen due to how you eat. So that
Hmm.
was my purpose in actually asking you. And I know we talked about that, and it didn't even have anything to do with that. So I just
Mm-mm.
wanted to kind of bring that to the table because when you think about strokes and heart attack, you automatically feel I automatically feel okay. Well, maybe it was something how I was eating, I wasn't managing how I eat and stuff like that.
Nope, it was just purely from my birth control. And I like to educate and tell women, like, you have to be very careful about what you're putting in your bodies, because we don't know the reaction after a certain period of time. But managing for health and what you eat in your diet is also pretty important. And that's what we do it with the restaurant. With us having a gluten-free menu, is we're helping people to manage certain autoimmune diseases. They can't eat out because they're suffering from some type of intolerance, or um, allergy, or traumatic symptom that their body can't process certain things.
All right. So sticking along, the route that we're going as far as you being an entrepreneur, you own your own establishment. So let's talk a little bit about Chicago Restaurant Week.
Okay, so Chicago Restaurant Week is coming up. It's January 24th through February 9th. We've been a participant of Chicago Restaurant Week for, I want to say, about 6 or 7 years. It's a 2 week time frame where, over 300 restaurants across the Chicagoland area get to feature some of their finest dishes in a prefix menu. And so it is highly visible event. A lot of restaurants do it because, normally, December through March is our slow season. So by Chicago Tourism Board hosting this event, it allows people to come in and patronize those restaurants that need the cash flow and need to, kind of get through to get to the summer. So it's a really, really dope event. We do a prefix menu and we feature dishes that are special to us. So because we have a New Orleans Cajun Creole menu, a lot of people, and we're gluten free, so we're like the only one here in the city as well as the state of Illinois that is a gluten-free Cajun Creole restaurant. So people are traveling from all over to partake in the menu and just have an experience at Chesa's.
Okay, so for those that are watching now, the menu we actually have is the white menu. I know I probably, my tag with that, but the white menu, this is actually the afternoon, or is this the morning menu?
This is the brunch menu for the weekends.
Okay, so I'm gonna get ready and bring the other menu, which is black and gold, and this is the afternoon menu, correct?
That's the dinner menu.
The dinner menu. Okay,
Mhm.
all right. So if anyone wanted any other information pertaining to this, now the menu that you have, this is strictly for your establishment, correct?
Correct.
Now, for those that are up there in that area, and I know you say people travel from different places to come, even from down south to come up there. What would you recommend so we can find out more about Chicago Restaurant Week? Is there websites? What can we do to get more information? We coming to see
So,
you, but we just want
okay.
more information.
So people can go to Eat It Up Chicago or the Choose Chicago Tourism Board to look at all of the different restaurants. But for us, primarily, people can find us on TikTok or Instagram, and they can look up the menus from there. But Eat It Up Chicago is where they host all of the restaurants that are participating.
All right. So I want to ask you a question. We go kind of transition out of that. So, what are some
Mm.
of the trials and tribulations you have faced being an entrepreneur?
Oh gosh, there's a there's a ton of it. So primarily for me, the thing that I have the biggest issue with is staffing. Staffing can really cripple a business. It is like I mean, just because the dynamic of the economy has changed over the years, it is so hard to get good people to want to work and to show up to have a good work ethic and to really believe in it and buy into the vision of what you're doing. And that's across any industry. But particularly for me, we're a small business and we're so dynamic because we not only have the restaurant, but we also have catering and the food trucks. So trying to staff those different entities has become a really big challenge because we just don't have quality people and we don't have, we have opportunity, but there's just no people to work those jobs. The second thing, a lot of people say, access to capital. If I've been very grateful to participate in a number of different programs that help elevate my business to be in position and at the forefront to, receive funding, to get support that I need. And it's just about researching and being an advocate for yourself. So we are diversifying the portfolio of the business by just tapping into other resources that we wouldn't traditionally do. And just like for me, doing chef classes or nutrition classes, that's kind of, even though I have the brick and mortar, I still have to be diverse in what I'm doing to get to get capital into the business. Um, another piece is just marketing, especially in Chicago. Chicago is like one of the number one food places in Chicago, I mean, in the country. And, with the Black restaurants, we are so competitive. Everyone's doing something different. Some people are doing the same things. And so it's like, what can you do to stand out, in this particular market to make people that want to come into your restaurant? What is your niche? And so marketing is pivotal for us. And so we have a lot of, influencers come into the restaurant. We do a lot of different menus. We are on all the social media. So we're doing everything that everybody normally does and just making sure that we are relevant. So those are the top three things I think, as a small business owner across the board, that a lot of business owners may have challenges with, and kind of focusing on how to really hone in and be unique.
Okay. So, what advice would you give a potential entrepreneur?
Stay consistent. Consistency is key. When I first started out in my business, I was very consistent. People could rely on me for the same exact meal, the same exact quality of service, and that's what essentially grew our business. It wasn't until I started to expand and hire new staffing where it became a little bit inconsistent, and it was just because I was relying on other people to show up. And so I would just say be consistent, but then be thorough in your search for quality staff, because they will make or break your business.
All right. So, this is my final question. And, I hope you're ready for this one. And this is
Mhm.
something that, we want the whole world to know about Miss Chesa Rollins, Chef Chesa Rollins. Can you tell us something about yourself that no one knows?
So I thought about this, and I that no one knows. And so I think one of the unique things about me is that I am a big Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones fanatic. Like, I love anything to do with period pieces. So I kind of watch those series, the shows, the movies over and over again every winter. Like, I've never seen it before. Like, I would go to the movies to watch those things. Like, it would be like a marathon for me. Like, I love, 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 love those type of films. So no one really knows that.
So, how many times have you think you watched all of this stuff, as far as.
Probably, I want to say I've seen Lord of the Rings probably maybe over 100 times.
Oh my God. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah,
And
yeah.
when you
Because
watch
like,
it, oh,
I'm
go
sorry, go
ahead. I'm
ahead.
sorry. Oh,
No, no,
so
wait.
when those parts come up, does it still be like it's new to you when you see like, oh my God, what's about to happen? When you actually know what's about to happen, do you still have that same feeling?
Let me tell you, if I miss a part, I will rewind it. Like, if I get up to go to the bathroom, like I missed it, like as if I didn't see it before, like I will rewind and play it again.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. And you've already seen
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Oh wow, that's interesting. Okay, Ms. Rollins, like I said, we're not gonna take any more of your time, but I would like to actually give you this time. Is there any other information that you would like to provide to the general audience? Any information as far as the location, anything you would like to provide us before we close this out?
Sure. So Chesa's Bistro and Bar is located in Chicago, 3235 West Addison, Suite C. If you have, and a lot of people will say, I don't want to eat gluten free. Gluten free is nasty. And so everything that we consume within our body starts out as gluten free. All the vegetables, the proteins, the fruit, all of those are gluten free. It's not until we start to add in certain additives that changes the dynamic of that food. So if you're adding in, McCormick seasoning, or if you're adding in, flour, then that makes it not gluten free. And so people who have, diabetes, fibromyalgia, lupus, um, cardiovascular disease, any type of autoimmune disease might want to consider looking into a gluten free diet. And it's just basically removing certain genetically modified foods out of it to help control those symptoms and the illnesses that come from it.
All
And that's
right.
it.
Hey, we really appreciate you giving us this time. I know it's 5 degrees out there. Y'all doing y'all thing, but I think we would be on lockdown if we was in the 5 degrees right now. But hey, I really appreciate you coming through, Chessa. We got a gift
No
coming your
problem.
way, and I'll be getting it you soon. You already know this is before the vision. When you get the call, you up. We about to get up out of here. We go holla.